It's Big Fat Nerdy Nerd back at it again, bringing the big back energy. We're talking Escape from Tarkov today, patch 0.15. We got the patch notes up. I'm going to go through them. Come through them with me. Let's talk about them. I took a quick peek. It looks like there could be some exciting things about this patch that actually gets me to want to play. Starting, of course, we have the factory rework. All textures, geometry, the plant building, its rooms, cellars, everything have been completely redesigned. They retain the general dimensions and layout of the original location. However, rooms, basements, and workshops have been refined while maintaining the large-sized objects of the original location. So many of the, as you can see in the trailer, most of the rooms looked pretty much the same, but there definitely were some new connects. Like it says here, some areas of the plant and cellar area that connects all 4 workshops have been expanded and added outdoor areas around the plant. That's going to be dope. It's going to be very interesting, and that probably hopefully makes for some better spawns, I would assume. New crosswalks, improved upper level area, obviously would adjust the spawns and extracting PMCs and scavs. I swear to God, if I spawn next to somebody in that damn glass hallway, I'm never playing the damn map, because that is the most useless, dumb spawn that should have been removed the first time factory got expanded. Oh my gosh. What else we have going on? Redistributed loot, added new tasks, you know, the whole thing. This next section kind of goes together. We have a new boss called Partisan, and PMC Karma has been added to the game. Partisan is, they say he's a combat veteran. He's obsessed with tripwires and booby trapping. That sounds fucking terrifying. I can't believe they have a boss that's going to rat me out. That's crazy. He's on good terms with Jaeger. That's a green flag, right? No, that's not. Yeah. It says that he believes to be honorless and hunting people down, whether they PMCs or scavs. He has no ties to other bosses and tries not to cross paths with them. So that means he definitely is gonna be fighting other bosses and scavs. Like if he is in, you know, paths, he's not loyal to them. So he's gonna be a more neutral agent, essentially. Your standing with fence has no effect on Partisan's attitude towards you, and it cannot be increased or decreased by helping or killing him. He appears in forest type locations. So woods, I'm assuming I'm gonna take that as any forest area of any map. So woods, customs, you know, behind dorms and going up to behind gas. Shoreline area, plenty of woods there. That's kind of crazy. He's gonna be on those like dead parts of the map, if that's what this is suggesting, and that's kind of crazy. He is more likely to appear in a raid with low karma PMCs. In this case, Partisan will hunt those players down. That's crazy. And if there are scavs with low karma in the raid, he will also hunt them down. However, any player has to be ready for the traps and expect a firefight when encountering this boss, regardless of the karma. So it doesn't matter if you got good karma, he's still gonna fight you. He just won't hunt you down. He takes a stealthy approach. Fantastic. Taking advantage of the terrain, setting traps in advance, and only engaging in open combat afterwards. The process of preparing and exploring a location takes up most of his time, while open confrontations are less frequent. This is really interesting though. When fighting against multiple opponents, he can lure one of the players' as booby traps, which he sets up beforehand. He acts alone, installs tripwires, actively uses grenades, and can move quietly through the terrain and track his target for a long time. You telling me he's gonna stalk me across the fucking map? That's actually really exciting though. They're adding a very unique boss, and I gotta give them credit for doing something a little bit more unique than just adding some dude with some weapon. You know, like Tagilla was kind of cool. You know, a hammer, he chases you down. You know, his AI behavior was a little bit different. He's a little cheesy, but it's a little bit different than the other bosses, because those like original bosses all kind of play the same, right? And the rogues, they kind of play as a group. You know, you got Knight, Bird Eye, and Bird Eye will snipe you from afar and stuff like that. He'll hunt you down if you kill one of the other two. But this one is, I think, the most unique one so far. We'll just have to see how good that AI behavior actually works. If he's cheesable, the tripwires are gonna get. He's gonna be tough. He's probably gonna be the hardest boss, to be honest, because if you're not paying attention, that's kind of crazy. All of this comes again along with karma. It's a hidden parameter. So what I don't like is that we're not going to know our karma. The karma value changes depending on player actions. Generally, it can be increased by adhering to more open play style and decreased for a dishonest play style. So I'm assuming this karma has to be tagged to both PMCs and scavs, because I know we have scav karma, but like, how do you know I'm being dishonest as a PMC? Am I going to be in trouble now if I'm killing other USECs and bears? Which could be cool, but could be annoying. I mean, that just makes that's gonna add a whole nother level of depth to the game. The number of triggers that change the value of karma will always be increasing, and the triggers themselves will be adjusted and balanced further. That's interesting. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that. Does that mean they're just going to be adding more to the game that triggers, or I'm a little confused by some of this because they're being their kind of old BSG selves in a way. They don't want to be too open with it. And then it says in some cases, karma changes can be tracked by a distinctive sound notification. Okay, in some cases, why not all cases? That's the only thing I don't like, is that we're getting this hidden feature that we really can't fully understand how it works, where it's going to work. So that's the only thing I don't like about this, is that, okay, cool, they've added this. We really don't know what it does, what does good karma, what does bad karma. And I don't like that, because how do I know I'm being rewarded and punished? You know, video games are designed to reward and punish, not to just be random all the time and you have to figure everything out. So it's like, I understand they said open play style and dishonest play style, but they didn't give any parameters for that. What are the parameters? Regardless, I'm sure it's going to need the kinks worked out no matter what, and there will be balance changes, I'm sure. Map to map travel. Wow, we've really come a long way. It used to be we never thought we'd see Streets of Tarkov. Now we have map to map travel. Of course, they're never going to be able to implement the original idea of all maps into one essential big map. This is going to be the closest you can get to it, and I give them credit for finally doing this. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. This sounds like something that was, I'm not a game developer. I do have a background in programming, but it sounds like it wasn't necessarily the most difficult thing to implement. You just add an extract to another map, but who am I? Who am I to judge? New game event will be added called Marathon. During this Marathon event, location transits will only be available in the corresponding game mode. Marathon is only available in PvP. Players will receive a unique achievement for completing it, and after the event is over, all location transits will become available in all raids. Added the ability to travel from one location to another. So to move to another location, the player must enter the transit zone, select the appropriate option. They're available only 7 minutes after the start of the raid, so you can't just jump in too quick, get to the extract and go. You got to have that normal 7-minute timer, as you would normally to survive a raid. During the transit, the player will be able to transfer some items found in raid, move to the stash for a certain price. That's cool. Okay, that's cool. After transferring items, the transit timer will begin. When activating the transfer and transferring items, the ability to exit the current location will become unavailable, and the player will be forced to use the transit. Okay, interesting. We'll have to see how this actually plays out when you get into the game. Sometimes they describe things and it isn't not accurate to what actually is being done. If when attempting to transit in a group, players can use the transit only if all living members of the group are in the transit zone. So you got to go together as a group as long as the rest of the living players are there. If several players who are not in the same group use the transit at the same time, they will be transferred to the next location together. That is really cool. Solo players can join a group and also transit really to the next location. I think that is one of the best features they could have ever added to this game. For people that use VoIP, obviously this is going to be a very rare thing because most people in Tarkov are still assholes. But wouldn't that be so awesome? You pick up a solo buddy. You're in a duo and a solo guy's like, I'm just trying to do my thing. Hey, you guys, what do you want to roll with us? Let's go to resort after we're done with customs. I think that's actually really, really cool. So props to them for doing that. That's really cool. Available transit directions are marked with a dotted line on the location selection screen. Okay, so when we go into the raid, you can see where things connect. So obviously you can't go to, I guess, Lighthouse from customs. I don't remember exactly where things connect, but we'll see when we launch this game up later. And then added the Marathon achievement. Awesome. Tripwires, obviously we saw this in the trailer. It's a single-use consumable item. The tripwire installation kit is required to install the tripwire. The item cannot be found in raid or bought on the flea market. The kit will be available for purchase after completing Jaeger's task chain. That's interesting. I'm assuming Jaeger's task chain is going to be a pain in the ass. Maybe they mean all of Jaeger's tasks, or these like specific tasks. I'm not exactly sure, but even if you have to do all of Jaeger's tasks, that's a lot of tasks, and he's got some pain in the ass tasks. We all know, right? When the item is in inventory, the player gets access to the tripwire by pressing B on the appropriate grenade. So you can choose a grenade, but the grenade must be in the hands to select tripwire mode. Okay, using the B key. Okay. Has a minimum and maximum installation length. It can only be placed on any flat or slightly inclined surface. I'm sure there's gonna be some glitchy ass shit with that. I'm sure there's gonna be something that seems flat and it's not. And I bet you. Can be activated a number of ways. Shooting the wire, so you can shoot it from a distance. That's good. That's if I see it, I can shoot it. Fuck off. Hitting the wire with explosive shrapnel. So grenades. Okay, they've already put in some balances for it, I guess. Grenades will throw it off. People won't be throwing grenades everywhere now. And hitting the wire with any physical object, including players, bots, or items. So you could be setting it for a player, but Scav could walk in there, or you can throw an item at it. That's interesting. Oh yeah, airdrop drops on it, explodes it. Okay. During activation, a tripwire does not explode instantly, but with the fuse delay specified in the grenade's description. That's cool, because I feel like that could lead for some fun game moments where you think you're dead, but it's actually one of the grenades from like Peacekeeper that have like the 5-second detonation, and you think you might be able to get away, and then you don't, or you back into it or something, or you have the impactor essentially, or the VOGs, and they have almost instantaneous, detonation time. I like it. Okay, not bad. Tripwires can be disarmed. To do so, approach the booby trap grenade and disarm it through the context menu. It takes a certain amount of time. Having a multi-tool in your inventory significantly reduces the disarming time. Okay, they gave us a reason to bring your multi-tool in the raid. All right, and you can just put it in your utility slot. After disarming, you can take the grenade using the tripwire. That's cool. This is what worries me. People are gonna be hunting down Partisan for grenades now. So what kind of grenades do his tripwires have? Because they're just gonna try and hunt him down, find his tripwires. Yeah. And tripwires disarm on their own after a certain amount of time. How long, BSG? See, this is what I don't like when BSG does. How long? Can we know how long? Is it 90 seconds? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Bipods and weapon mounting. Beautiful. You mount a weapon, you aim at a suitable certus, and you press the mount weapon key, which is going to be V by default, which is going to replace the melee. I mean, I guess you double tap V for melee, but V would take out your... They have so many different little key combinations now. Recoil and stamina consumption is reduced. Beautiful, it should be. To mount the weapon on a bipod, press the toggle bipod Control V combination, control paste, then point at a suitable... Okay, interesting. Cool. So you can mount with or without a bipod. Yeah. The recoil, stamina, consumption, and weapon sway is greatly reduced when firing. So the weapon sway is not going to be reduced necessarily when firing from a mounted weapon, but it will be from a bipod mounted weapon. And it's greatly reduced. So that's good. Mounting the weapon while prone is only available if the bipods are installed and deployed on the weapon. Icon in the corner of the screen is going to show up whether the weapon is mounted or signals that the given sort of surface is not suitable for mounting. Okay, awesome. They're going to give us a little feed. New hideout zone, gear rack. It's going to be added to the extended part of the hideout. That wall that you bust down has 3 upgrade levels. Each level adds a mannequin, and it can display any gear equipable on your PMC. You can equip gear from the mannequin or exchange gear already equipped for the mannequin's gear. That's lovely. Swap. Oh, hey, actually, Charles, my buddy, we're gonna run woods, and Charles can just be like, I got my woods kit over here, let me just take my customs off. Swap, boom. Beautiful, brilliant. Why couldn't we have someone whose quality of life features? We've been asking them for so long. I digress. Pouch items and special slot items do not apply to be equipping and exchange. That's fine. That's fair because it would be extra inventory space, I guess. Mannequin gear is displayed in the list of kits window. You can equip a kit from the mannequin there. Fantastic. New hideout zone, cultist circle. It is located outside the main hideout. Interesting. You can sacrifice up to 5 items in the circle. 5 items. The value of each sacrifice item is added up, and that total determines the value of items received as a gift. The cultist cannot deliver while you're in the hideout, so you have to be away. Interesting. So you do it and you leave. If the value of a single sacrifice is above a certain threshold, there's a 25% chance to receive items needed for active tasks and unfinished hideout zones. Wow, interesting. A little some more gambling. BSG's like, yeah, I didn't have enough with the scav loot box. Now the scav junk box. We're gonna give you this cultist circle. The value of sacrifice items is further increased by bonuses from Sacred Amulet. That must be something new. Okay, and hideout management skill. Players who have purchased the Unheard edition will have the cultist circle built instantly. Yeah, honestly, they could have just kept that line out of there. They didn't need to put that. Jesus Christ. Anyways, moving on from that. AI enemy reaction system. This only seems to affect PvE. And it's just there's different possible reactions. The AI could be instant aggressive, friendly, a little bit of friendliness, a warning, and then an attack, and then neutral unless shown aggression. It depends on the mood of the bot and the faction of the target. If a bear encounters a USEC, they're more likely to engage. Not necessarily, but more likely. And then if it's a bear and a bear, it's less likely to engage. It's made for both player scavs and player PMCs. It depends on location as well, and how aggressive the AI is going to be. On ground zero, under level 20, bots are going to be more friendly. On labs, they're going to be more aggressive. Faction interactions will be implemented and balanced further in both PvE and PvP modes. I'm sure there's going to be some karma-related things that we're going to learn about. A lot of new weapons, ordnance, equipment, loots. We got the Uzi coming in. We got the SR3M 9x39 compact assault rifle. The Desert Eagle. Ooh, I know a lot of people be excited to have a Desert Eagle. You get a couple different variants: .50, .50 cal, .357, L5, L6. Yeah, you get a nice couple different variants there. Light machine gun M60. We're adding some classic guns in this. Uzi, Desert Eagle, light machine gun, M60 light machine gun. I mean, yeah, that's nice. You're gonna get some updated weapon models: the Val, Ventores, the VSS, Ketters, and the Clin. New caliber, .50 Action Express, and new ammo. So not just so that's the new caliber, and then the new ammo you're gonna have. Looks like we're gonna have some. You got Full Metal Jackets, you got JHP, Copper Solid, and JSP. So I'm assuming some are gonna be flesh, some's gonna be more, armor piercing. Some new weapon attachments. Adjusted the functionality for pistol grips on the macro. There's a quick drop button on the grip. Interesting. Improved the AUG, A1 and A13 visuals, updated animation, added some animation variations depending on the installed attachments for new and updated weapons. Oh, I can't wait to see that. They're always great about animations in Escape from Tarkov. I love them. Updated the grenade animations. Okay. Added new types of armor, helmet, equipment, loot, new options for character customization. I don't mind that they don't show all of the new things they added. I do like finding some of those things in my raid. Oh, what is this? I ain't never seen this helmet before. Quality of life improvements. I would argue some of those things they added are quality of life improvements, but whatever. This to me, if working right, I saw this when I was kind of just briefly scrolling in before I started the video, and I was like, no way. Optics zoom adjustment added the ability to smoothly adjust zoom for the following optics: the Burris, the Voodoo, the Loophole, the March Tactical, the Razor, the Schmittenbender, the Tango. All of them. All of those long range, or most of them, from what I can tell. Even some of the nasty ones. And you can just smoothly go in and out. Pause, no diddy. Default keys, alt, scroll up and down. That right there. Come on. Why couldn't we have that to start with? I don't understand. It is 2024. This is a modern game. It's been out since 2017, 2016, whatever. That should be some shit that should have been added years ago. All right, selecting grenade with G. They changed this before. A new icon, G, is available on the quick access bar. It will display a grenade the player will equip first. You can hold G, kind of like when you want to heal a different body part. You can hold down 4 or 5 with your med kit, or whatever you have, your Salewa, and you can kind of scroll down and select torso, arm. You can do it and select grenades. I like that. That's nice. Flashlight, tactical device operation mode added the ability to activate tactical devices and flashlight by pressing or holding a key. I wonder if like you can activate different ones by pressing and holding a key. I'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly what they mean by that. I'm not sure, because you can already activate tactical devices by pressing. Maybe it's the holding one as well. Oh, maybe you can. Oh, maybe if you want to just hold a button down on your mouse too. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really messed with the hotkeys for tactical devices before. So, manual value entry in game settings to manually enter values in the game settings for. Oh, adjusting mouse. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's hotkey adjustments. Actually, oh, melee has been reassigned to you. That's my delete key, like pistol. I'll have to change that. Balancing changes, simplified objectives for tax, setup, long road. Interesting. What did they simplify? Completely remove trade offers for Class 6 body armor. Plate carriers, ballistic plates, and helmet modifications from traders can only be found in raids. Let's get it. Change the availability of ammo in the flea market. Oh my God. They do this a lot, and I don't always agree with it. All ammo with less than 42 pen is allowed, with a few exceptions. Okay, and didn't list the exception, but that's fine. Increased damage is 76239, 54539, and 9 by 21, but decrease the damage of 55645? Did we really need to decrease the damage of 55645? I don't know. I didn't play a ton this wipe, so I'm not familiar with what the current like meta ammo was, but it's been my assumption 76239 has always been a good ammo and always been one of the stronger ammos, especially in these past couple years, especially since the M4s were nerfed a long time ago. I know with some of the recoil changes kind of bringing some of those guns back, 556 has shown a little bit more of a resurgence, but I don't remember, because I didn't play with this last armor update. I didn't know this last one that happened a couple months back, so I kind of heard that 556 fell back off because of that, but I'll have to see. Technical changes. Your equipment shouldn't clip anymore, guys. It should be perfectly on your PMC. No more glitches there. I don't really care about that, but that's gonna be cool. The drip's gonna look nice, you know? Reworked animations, optimize left shoulder, yada yada, you know, the good stuff. The typical stuff. Different door interaction animations. Updated some graphics stuff and some other things. Switched to game season this summer. Sounds. We've been having sound issues in Tarkov since Tarkov, and it's never been, I don't think it's ever been good. Some people argue the old sound systems were better, and sure. You know, there's like 3 different Veritas videos on sound that really go into depth about this, but at the end of the day, we've consistently had sound problems in Tarkov. This is interesting. They've developed a component that's going to track the position and the rotation of the listener and moves the source along a predetermined curve, changing not only position of the source, but also its exposure angle. By changing the exposure angle of the sound, it becomes more natural. Okay, interesting. That seems a little bit technical, and I don't know how to get into that too much, but it seems like, why were they not already tracking the position, rotation of the listener? But they weren't. Now they're changing the angle of the source, so as it moves. Okay, yeah, this should make it more accurate, is what it's saying. Implemented large number of different sound sources to enhance immersion. The flow of water through pipes on factory, rats running in the vents. I'm okay with some immersive sounds. They've already made a very immersive game, but I like that. Small debris details that are randomly played at specific points, fall of pebbles, interference with electricity generators, air coming out of the boilers. I like that. That's really nice. I like that. There's some performance optimization and occlusion calculation algorithm adjustments. Now, occlusion algorithm is kind of where I've had some problems and stuff. Transfer the whole algorithm to multi-threaded calculations. Okay, now, long story short, your CPU has, for those that aren't very technical, your CPU has essentially, it's really a few different CPUs, and some of those CPUs can kind of divide further into two threads. They can essentially do 2 things at the same time. And so most games don't utilize multi-threading because it's not necessarily fast. It's more so for calculating a lot of different things at once, and games run by, you know, frames per second. So we want things to be fast, and the fastest is always single-threaded. But when you need to do a lot of stuff, delaying some things that aren't as important, that aren't as a key timepiece to the other threads, is going to help take the load off the system, and it's going to help make things probably more accurate as far as sound goes. So I'm interested to see how transferring the entire algorithm to multi-threaded calculations will help with their algorithm, essentially. Finalize search and calculation of the angle between source and listener, improve the use of depth to determine its effect on sound, improve the curves tuning, which is responsible for volume decay and sound propagation in complex geometry locations. The sound, so long story short, the sound should be smoother, and we should have a more accurate grasp on where that sound is coming from. Active headset adjustments. Improve separation of weapon sounds. Also, I'm not like an expert on multi-threading, so I'm sure I didn't explain it perfectly well, and I was just trying to be what I understand and be simple about it. So if anybody's listening and wants to correct me, go ahead. But I don't think I was that off. But active headset adjustments. Improve the separation of weapon sounds and other sounds into different compressor channels. Oh, okay. So what it essentially is, what it sounds like they were doing before, is everything was going into one channel and all the noise and they would compress it. And how a compressor works essentially is when a sound hits a certain threshold, it pushes sound down. But if you're firing a gun's really loud, it's going to keep pushing all sound down, right? Because that gun is going over the threshold. So what I'm assuming what they mean by this is that they've done different channels of compressors for different sounds and different categories of sounds. So now they'll compress weapon sounds without fully compressing, footsteps or something like that. So that should be good, and that should help with hearing, hopefully. Added the splitting of sound subgroups, increased the number of customizable parameters. I can't speak today. Adjusted the frequency response, noise reduction level, and compressor values, as well as their technical specifications to match the specs of real headsets. Now, I have not really used many of these headsets, but that's cool. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to actually feel like maybe the headset they're using in game is pretty similar to the headset they use in real life. Recorded the real active headsets that are used in game, the sound of shooting and environment sounds in them to allow further fine-tuning. The positioning of sounds, distant awareness, and the sound of in-game active headsets were noticeably improved. All headsets have their own unique equalization, resulting in a different sound for all headsets. Okay, interesting. I feel like the equalization between headsets wasn't as varied before. I feel like most headsets sounded relatively the same, with some having just really loud sounds. So I'm interested to hear how much more different and unique they're going to sound. Anti-cheat updates, I'll see it when I believe it. But apparently they've helped some exploits with monitoring loot and network synchronization and unfair movement, so flying around the map and shit like that. There's a list of changes here, just displaying fixes and things like that. I'm not going to go through these. These are pretty simple. I'm excited. I'm excited to play this wipe a little bit. I don't know how long I'll play, how long I'll last, but I would like to try out the map travel. I want to check out the factory rework. I want to fight the new boss. I want to put a scope on my gun, and I want to smooth zoom in and out, baby. Oh yeah, that's cool. Tell me what y'all think. Are you guys excited? And see you guys in 7 hours.